My cameraman, Cody Weber, is on vacation, so please forgive the inferior quality. I'm the Amazing Atheist, the most amazing of all atheists. If ever there was an atheist as amazing as me, well, it doesn't matter because there fucking wasn't! So let's get down to it. Today we're gonna talk about the seven deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins are 7 character traits and behaviors and thought processes that Christians think are wrong and sinful and bad and etc. For those of you who have never seen the movie Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and Kevin Spacey, the 7 deadly sins are as follows. Wrath! Greed! Sloth. Pride. Lust. Envy. Gluttony. The 7 deadly sins were cooked up in the 4th century by a monk by the name of Evagrius Ponticus. And when he came up with them, they weren't the 7 deadly sins, they were the 8 evil thoughts. Because, you know, thinking things is evil. But I guess the 8 evil thoughts didn't sound scary enough, because over time, thoughts became sins, and evil became deadly! You're gonna fucking die! So let's go over these sins, shall we? We shall. The first sin is wrath, anger. For those of you whose vocabularies trend towards the remedial. Fucking kick your ass! Fuck you guys! Kick your fucking ass! Kick your ass! You know, that kind of thing makes people uncomfortable. They feel like, you know, they're under threat of violence. You know, and it makes the whole situation feel sort of tense. You know, people start talking all that shit, like if I had a gun, I'd shoot you. I hate you motherfuckers. You know, you ruined my life, etc. Things like that. It bothers people. But is it deadly? You know, is it deadly? You know, I mean, if you get so mad you fucking bash someone's head in, then it's deadly. But is it a sin to just be angry? I mean, sometimes anger is justified. What if someone walks up to you in the mall and stabs you in the kidney? That's a good time for anger, I think. That's a good time to be like, hey, I am upset now. Are you really committing a sin just because you got a little pissed off at the guy that stabbed you in the kidney in the mall? Doesn't seem like you are to me. That seems like a perfectly natural reaction to that stimuli. Right? Right. Let's move on to sloth. Laziness. I have a good story about this. One time, me and my brother and my dad were in the living room and my stepmother was in her bedroom one door away, and she calls my dad on the cell phone. She's in the next room and she calls him on the cell phone to ask him the definition of the word sloth. That's fucking awesome. I mean, in pre-industrial society, it makes sense for this to be a sin, because when everyone else is out there harvesting grain or wheat or whatever the fuck they're doing, you can't just be inside playing your fucking Nintendo DS. You gotta be out there helping them. Because that's the way you eat. There's no fucking 7-Eleven down the street where you can get yourself a box of crackers later. If fucking plants don't come out of the ground, you fucking starve to death. So it made sense then. But is laziness really so bad now? I don't think so. Laziness creates jobs. People are like, hey, I don't want to clean my house. I think I'll hire someone else to do it. Hey, I don't want to mow my fucking lawn. I'll hire some Mexicans to mow it for me. Let's move on to pride. Now, pride can be pretty annoying if it's unjustified pride. If someone, you know, just walks around with a big swinging dick when they haven't really accomplished anything, and like, I'm the greatest motherfucker ever was. That can be pretty annoying. though I wouldn't really call it sinful. But if you've genuinely accomplished something, I mean, like if you're an architect that has designed some incredible buildings, or you're a songwriter who has written some great songs that are part of the culture, then I think you should be able to be like, yeah, I'm a pretty impressive motherfucker. You should be able to shine that fucking badge and just walk around town with your big swinging dick and just, hey everybody, look at my dick swinging to and fro because I'm so fucking awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the American dream. That's part of the human dream. We all want to be recognized for something. We all want to have some talent that sets us apart from the herd and makes us special. There's nothing wrong with that feeling. Now what about greed? Now greed has caused some fucked up shit on this planet. Greed has caused a bunch of fucking people on Wall Street to bet against their own economy and basically decide that they're happy if the system collapses, as we saw in that recent BBC interview with that investor.
They don't really care that much how they're going to fix the economy, how they're going to fix the whole situation. Our job is to make money from it.
So a lot of greed can definitely be a bad thing, but isn't a little greed kind of a good thing? Isn't it sort of good that people want a little bit more than what they just need? I mean, wouldn't a life without any sort of excess be a life not worth living? I mean, technically, all a human being needs are food, clothing, and shelter. But it's not a very fun existence. It kind of fucking sucks. Greed is a good thing because it gives us other shit to do. Now let's talk about lust. Why would lust be a sin? Lust is the cornerstone of the perpetuation of the human species. Without the desire, the need to fuck, there's no future generation. I mean, the Bible basically wants you to fuck to procreate. Unless you're a king, then you're allowed to have a big-ass fucking harem of bitches. But unless you're a king, the only time you're ever supposed to have sex is when you want a little fucking mewling infant to be fucking draining your resources. That's the only time you're allowed to do it. And you can only do it then, and if you're doing it for any other reason, then it's wrong. Okay, well then I have a question. Why would God make it feel good? If God only wants us to fuck to propagate the species, then why doesn't he just say, alright, well, it's time for you to fuck? Or, why doesn't he do like a Pon farr thing, you know? Like, the Vulcans in Star Trek, they only need to fuck every 7 years. Why doesn't he just do that? Like, every 7 years, or, you know, because we have shorter lifespans, maybe every, like, 2 years, we get this urge, like, we gotta fuck! And then we do, and we conceive a baby, and that's it. And then we never have the urge beyond that. Why would God make sex so awesome and so pleasurable if he doesn't want us to do it? That doesn't make sense, right? Right. Let's talk about gluttony. I'm kind of familiar with this one. I like to eat a lot of fucking food because food is good. But hey, it's not so bad now. I mean, sure, we got this obesity problem and all that shit. But think about how much worse gluttony was in pre-industrial times, when we were all farmers. You know, I mean, like, if someone's eating more than their fair share, you know, that's fucked up, because, you know, there's a limited supply of food. You can't go to Walmart and pick up more groceries when you run out. You're just fucked. So if there's some guy that's just fucking pigging out at mealtime, you're gonna be like, whoa, hey man, fuck you. We're gonna fucking have to kill you and eat your fucking dead body if we run out of food. So I suggest you fucking pace yourself. But now, when there's food everywhere, at least in this country, do we really need to worry about this gluttony shit anymore? I don't think so. I mean, Jerry Falwell certainly didn't seem too fucking concerned with it, if you know what I'm saying. Now on to envy. This is one of those sins that seems like it's designed by the powerful to make the powerless content in their powerlessness. Like, some rich guy walks around town with a bunch of like gold on his hands, and he's wearing the finest silks, and he's got his servants with him, and all the other fucking peasants see him, and they're like, what the fuck? Why does he have all that? And so this guy sees how jealous everyone is, and how they're looking at him with murder in their eyes, and he's like, I talked to the priest, and he said that jealousy is a sin. When you look at me and you envy all that I have, you're sinning. And also, doesn't this kind of contradict the greed thing? Because, okay, one person's greedy, so they have a bunch of stuff, and then another person is envious of that stuff. I mean, it seems like they're taking both sides here. Like, you're wrong for being greedy, and you're wrong for wanting the stuff that he has, which is also greed too. I mean, why are so many of these sins centered around accumulation? It seems like if you want anything, then you're fucking committing a sin. If you want money, oh, you're fucking greedy. If you want someone else's stuff, oh, you're envious. If you want some pussy, oh, lust. If you want a double quarter pounder with cheese, oh, gluttony. So the question I have is, why does God not want us to want? I guess that God is afraid of competition. I think God realizes, and when I'm talking about God here, I mean the men who created God to keep power for themselves. But what I think God realizes is that, you know, he's not very satisfying. A big juicy steak or a big pile of gold, those things are satisfying. And he knows that if you have that, you don't really need him. He doesn't really do much for you. You can buy stuff with gold. You can fill your belly with steak. You can't do shit with God. The only thing you can do with God is walk around like a smug asshole, like, I'm better than other people because Jesus loves me. I mean, let's think about how absurd this God really is. They got this thing in the Bible called the Ritual Decalogue, which is basically the other 10 Commandments. They take place from Exodus 34:11 to 26. And the 10th commandment is really interesting. It's, you must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. That's a commandment. You can't cook a goat in its mother's milk. That is a fucking commandment. God sat around thinking of 10 rules. Well, I mean, he gave us 2 sets of 10 rules, but one of the sets of 10 rules he gave us included a rule about not cooking a goat in its mother's milk. We're to believe that there is an entity, a being, an intelligence capable of designing the entire universe. He came up with fucking protons and neutrons and quarks and electrons. He figured out the fucking atom, the entire periodic table of elements. He figured out planets and stars and nebulas. And he wants us to not cook goats in their own mother's milk. That's his big fucking revelation to us. He created the universe, and he's supremely concerned with how we cook baby goats. Does that seem suspect to anyone else? Because it seems kind of fucking absurd to me.